What is up, YouTube? It is me, the Mad King Paradox, that's bringing you guys and gals a discussion, a One Piece discussion. Yes, it has been far too long since I've talked about this series. As you can clearly see, I am a pretty big fan, and yet I barely ever talk about it. I've done a couple of reviews back in the day, but they didn't really take off too well, and I wasn't good at them, so I didn't do them. But I'm rambling, and that's not what this video is about. This video is discussion about not only the outcome of the Luffy and Katakuri fight in this latest chapter, number 896, but about the major fights in the new world as of yet, and future fights, and my thoughts on them. So, I don't intend to make this a very long discussion, but I do tend to ramble every so often, so bear with me. I'm going to try and make this short and simple as much as I can, but I have a lot to talk about, so I'm just going to get right into it. So, 896, the outcome of the Luffy-Katakuri fight is, of course, Luffy. Everyone saw it coming, we all knew it was going to happen, and yet the backlash was instant. Just everyone just pouring on salt, just like, yeah, extra salt, just piles of salt right there. Not everyone was like throwing a fit over it and like going, "This is bull, man, they couldn't do that." There was a lot of people like me when they read the chapter were just like, I knew it was coming. It had to happen, but I wanted it done well. That was the main thing. I wanted it done well, and I believe the main thing that people have a problem with is the fact that Luffy's victory does not feel earned. The ending did not justify the fight. That's what I believe a lot of people's main problem with it is. And I'm going to be talking about why I believe that's happening as of yet, and how it could have been done better. First and foremost, the way I believe the fight should have ended was, it was great leading up. Luffy was getting dominated by Katakuri at every step of the fight for 13 hours. 13 hours this fight has been going on. And the cuts, like Oda does this thing where he'll skip portions of a fight and then come back to it. Normally, that's a big problem. I'm not going to say it was perfect for this fight, but for 13 hours, and we get a good amount of the fight in, a lot of the key points, you know, I didn't feel like I was robbed of anything, so I'm okay with that. But leading up to the end, you know, we got Luffy figuring out, oh, it's your observation that's the problem. I need to take care of that. Oh, I'm going to train my hockey to match yours. Oh, Snake Man. And then the conclusion of Luffy being Katakuri. How I believe the ending should have happened was they built up Katakuri to be a honorable man's man. I mean, he pierced himself in the side with his spear. Well, it wasn't really a spear. It was more of a... Was it? I can't remember exactly what it was. I don't want to say it was a trident. It could have been... I'm just going to say a spear for right now. I know I'm wrong, but that's going to say for simplicity. Well, he stabbed himself with his own weapon after Flambe's interruption. And... I just lost my train of thought there for a second. If it would have ended with Luffy passing out first, which he did, and then Katakuri being like, alright, this is the most intense fight I've had in a while. You've earned my respect. So here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to grab you, your unconscious self. I'm going to take you to your ship. I'm going to give you to your crew, say, alright, this is your one chance. I'm giving you Luffy so that he's not... You know, I don't think Katakuri knows about the ambush on Chocolate Town. But for argument's sake, let's say he does know. I'm giving Luffy to you so that you can just bypass the majority of my family. So now they just go to Chocolate Town, pick up Sanji, which will be a lot easier with them, focused on the mirror. They pick up Sanji, coup the burst, bail. Big Mom's busy with Capone and his crew with the cake, so she's out of commission for the moment. The Charlotte family can't keep up with a coup de burst, and they make it to the edge of Big Mom's territory, able to escape. That's how I feel it should have happened. I wouldn't have felt gypped by the outcome because, yes, Luffy lost after, lasting 13 hours against someone like Katakuri. He would have lost, but gotten a ton of experience from it, and it would have felt justified. That's what I would have liked to have seen, because it has been said time and time and time again, Luffy is not ready for this level of combat. Even Rayleigh himself, the one who trained Luffy, said that with your level of combat expertise and your level of haki, you are not able to handle going toe-to-toe with people of that caliber. People like Doflamingo, like Katakuri, like Jack, let alone a Yonko. So, I do have my thoughts on why Oda is doing it this way, but that is what I believe the ending should have been. I would have been okay with that. I mean, yeah, there could still be some flaws with that, but from an overall standpoint, I feel as though that would have worked. People would not feel like, oh, they just pulled it just out of nowhere so that the crew, mainly Luffy, would get a win. Because that's what it feels like. They just pulled Luffy's win out of thin air, and it wasn't really earned. Now, judging by that, and the fact, not so much that he beat Doflamingo, but I'm going to come back to that later. The fact that he beat Doflamingo the way he did, and he just got a win on Katakuri, it is obvious that more than likely Oda isn't going to let Luffy lose, for the main fights. So, which, I mean, of course, he's not going to lose. He's the main character. He has to win. But what I believe should be the case is a quote, my favorite quote from Bleach. Although I don't really have a whole lot over here. I have, a couple of volumes, down here somewhere. Well, where are they? Up there. I don't remember exactly where they're. They're somewhere in there. I have a couple of volumes. I don't remember exactly where in the story this was said. I want to say it was the fight against Byakuya in the Soul Society. Although I could be completely wrong. If I am, somebody tell me in the comments where exactly it is, because it's been so long since I've read Bleach. Ichigo said, I'm paraphrasing, by the way, it's not that I think I can win, or that I can win. It is, I have to win. And that is the mindset I am going in with every one of Luffy's major fights from here on out. Even with Doflamingo, I thought that. It's not that Luffy can win. It's Luffy has to win. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Somehow, some way, Oda is gonna write it to where even if he's up against someone he should never be able to defeat in his current circumstance, i.e. Katakuri, he's still gonna have a win. Somehow, some way. That's what I'm expecting. Am I happy with it? Yes and no. Because it's not that, oh, Luffy won. It's about why he won. It's about how he won. That is the important part. Now, going back to me talking about Doflamingo fight again, because With Doflamingo, Luffy by himself would not have beaten him. It took him being severely injured by Law and taking everyone in Dressrosa, giving him time to recover in order to deliver the finishing blow. If it was just Luffy versus Doflamingo one-on-one, Doflamingo would have won. With Katakuri, if it were Katakuri versus Luffy one-on-one, Luffy would have lost. It's kind of like one of those things you see every once in a while. It's like supposed to be a joke about how things are run. You need this to do this, but you need this in order to do that. But you need the first thing in order to do that. It's kind of like that from the way it looks. Luffy is not ready to face people of that caliber. But, like Rayleigh said, in order for him to get to that caliber, he has to fight stronger and stronger opponents. So Luffy has to fight people like Doflamingo, like Katakuri, like Jack, in order to get to their level. But he can't face them legitimately one-on-one without losing. So what has to happen is something has to happen to the opponent in order to bring them down to Luffy's level so that it is an even matchup. That way, Luffy can do something, get the win, get the experience he needs, and then slowly raise his level up to where, okay, now it's you and me, no interruptions, no things happening to halter you. It is just me at full strength, you at full strength, fisticuffs, bro, come at me. Luffy's not there yet. But in order for him to get there, he has to win fights like that so he can, slug it out like he did with Crocodile, like he did with Rob Lucci. Like, I've been thinking about those two fights for a while. Ever since, like, halfway through the Katakuri fight when Luffy started gaining an edge. Well, not gaining an edge. Katakuri started lowering himself down to Luffy. Because with the New World fights, like I've said, for the main ones, the enemies he's gone up against have been taken down a good bit so that Luffy stood a chance. It was never, oh, we're on equal grounds right from the get-go for the big villains. For some of them he has, for, I just blanked on his name. I'll get back to him. With Caesar Clown, it felt even. Yes, Caesar Clown had an edge. He was a Logia, even though Luffy could use Armament Haki to harm him, he was still a Logia, and he was gas. So with his higher level of intellect, he is able to use his gas in order to, go up against Luffy. Now, if he were actually competent, he would be a much bigger threat. I mean, come on, he knocked Luffy out by getting rid of the oxygen around him. Why did you not do that the second time? It clearly works. But with Horty Jones, that was his name. With Horty Jones, it seemed even. Luffy was 10,000 meters, I believe it was 10,000 meters, under sea level, and had to fight him in the water, a shark fisherman who was pumped full of energy steroids, 10,000 meters underwater in a bubble suit. Luffy clearly wasn't at peak condition, and it still felt even. That goes back to, when he fought Moria. Yeah, it felt even. Back when he fought Crocodile. Yeah, it felt even. Back when he fought Rob Lucci. Yeah, it felt even. The opponent had an advantage, and Luffy rose up and, put them in their place. But with Doflamingo and Katakuri, that wasn't the case. He was clearly nowhere near their level, but yet still had to get a victory. So the situation had to be altered so that Luffy could come out on top. That is what a lot of people's problem is. It's not just an all-out slugfest like it used to be. Now it's, we have to bring these people down so that we can take them out. Which, yeah, it's smart. It's very smart because, again, Luffy isn't ready. But at the same time, it kind of feels cheap. Because we want to see Luffy take out Doflamingo at his best. We want to see him take out Katakuri at his best. But at the same time, it's well established that he can't. He needs allies to help him. He needs the situation to be in his favor so that he can gain the experience and get on their level so that, yes, he can take these people on legitimately. That's why I'm not upset about the outcome of the Katakuri fight. Yes, I wish it was done better. Yes, I am a little upset that it ended the way it did. But I understand that even though it feels unjustified, unsatisfactory, it was still a win, and this bumps Luffy up. Luffy still buffs up Luffy to the point where we're getting to where he doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to bring people down so that he can win. I mean, he's still not Yonko level yet. No way. He's still not Katakuri level yet. No way. He still has a good way to go before he gets to that point. And we gotta think, next stop is Wano Kuni. He's going after Kaido. Kaido! You think it's gonna be cheap having them bring them down a level now? Imagine if Oda does that to Kaido. That would be massively bullcrap. It would only feel legitimate if Luffy were to beat Kaido at his peak, like he's supposed to. How can you be the king of the pirates if you can't even take out the big names in their prime? How are you going to take out Big Mom in her prime if you're barely lasting against her son? How can you go after Kaido if, you're nowhere near it? And let's say you try and pull that with Jack. Jack, from what we've seen, is just an all-around slugger. He's just going to I lost the word right there. He's just going to pound you into submission. No tricks, no sleight of hand, no thought behind it. Just, I'm coming at you, and you're going to be in the dirt. How are you going to... How are you going to alter the situation to where he can't do that? You can't. At least not that I can think about. There's clearly a way, but I can't think of one at the moment. A lot of people were complaining about Snake Man and how Luffy pulls him. Like, it did seem weird that it was like, oh, he just remembered he had Snake Man. But the way I looked at it was, a lot of people have said this too. I've watched a ton of people talk about this. Hell, I watched the several-hour thing that King of Lightning did after his live reaction the other day. Watched Tekking. There was a whole lot of other people I looked at. And yeah, I completely blanked on what I was about to say. For Snake Man, what it looked like was, oh, your observation hockey is the main thing I have to get over. And after 13 hours, yeah, he's not going to be as proficient with it as he was at the beginning. So using Snake Man then makes sense. If you were to do it at the beginning of the fight, Katakuri would have just dodged everything and it wouldn't have done anything. But saving it until the point where he felt like it could be effective and then using it, okay, I'll accept that. So I'm not really having a problem against Snake Man used that way. It was just done a little weird. Or introduced a little weird, I should say. But yeah, that's really all I had to say without rambling. So, give me your thoughts. I want to hear multiple viewpoints about this because it is something that's a big topic right now. So, this has been the Mad King Paradox signing off, and I will see you all for whatever I end up doing next.